It had been a while. It had been over 10 years. But finally, last weekend, a championship win arrived.
A favourable afternoon for Newcastle Thunder getting themselves off the mark.
Injuries turned to opportunities. The unbeaten Sheffield start, gone. The Thunder strike struck. But now, no time to dwell. No time to reflect. This isn't a league that allows it. It's onwards. Forwards. A fast turnaround on Tyneside. And a date with the Doggies. In third, only one defeat, and eager to quell the growing storm up north. Onwards it is then. Forwards. Round 4 of the Betfred Championship. Thunder. Bulldogs. Will lightning strike twice? Or will the Dogs have their day? But enough questions. Time for answers.
Yep, we'll be getting all of those answers by this time on Sunday afternoon, and we cannot wait. But before the main course on the weekend, allow me to welcome you to the starter, or the hors d'oeuvre if you're a bit posh. This press conference to preview what promises to be an absolute cracker of a match. It'll be the Newcastle Thunder against the Batley Bulldogs. It's a 12:15 kickoff on Sunday, so set your alarms for that one if you fancy to lie in until midday. Whoever would do that. Although, you will be tuning in a little bit earlier than that. You see, all live and exclusive on our league, as ever, as you can see, well, hopefully from a little ticker tape coming along the bottom of the screen. If that's not up yet, you can get, as if by magic, there it appears. You can get your early bird pass as of now, $4.95. So jump on that. Rather than just the game, as ever, we will have a pre-match show for you as well. You don't want to miss it. Get your passes now, especially as there's a social media boycott that's been announced by the RFL this afternoon. Great to see that, to force Twitter, to force Instagram, Facebook, to tackle issues of racism and other discrimination. That's going to last from 3 p.m. Friday to 11:59 p.m. on Monday. So the entirety of the bank holiday weekend, you won't be getting any social media updates from us or from Batley or anywhere else on Sunday. So extra motivation, extra incentive to get those passes bought for our league. Anyway, I'm going to take my sales hat off and we're going to get onto the main business, which is previewing this one. Newcastle Thunder against the Batley Bulldogs. And I'm delighted to be joined right now by the Newcastle Thunder's Director of Rugby, Denis Betts, and the Batley Bulldogs head coach, Craig Lingard, who should be with me right now and are joining me right now. Gents, how are we both? We all right?
Very well. You just confused me a little bit there. I'm getting a bit worried because you said it were 12:15 kickoff on Sunday. It's 12:45. So I'll rebooking his coach.
Is it? What the one? Is that me getting it completely? This is me working off pre-show timings, Craig, which is just the wrong way to do it. But yeah, thank you very, very much for correcting me on that. Otherwise, I'd have gone through this entire press conference saying that. But yes, 12:45 kickoff. Obviously, no social media updates, like we said. Craig, I must say, Dennis, we already know your internet connection is excellent. But I'm delighted to say, Craig, that your internet connection is well as well. As from what we saw from Mark from Sheffield last week, ending up in his loft. But fingers crossed he got his house sold at the very, very least. Let's have a look into this one then. And let's start by just reflecting back on what's been a pretty decent last weekend for both clubs, for both Thunder and Batley. Denis, first win of the season last week. I know it's early and all, but how nice was that just to get the monkey off the back?
Well, that's monkey off our back. It was nice to get a win against Sheffield. It's going so good. So it's just, but we've been slowly getting better. It's one of those kind of strange things that internally we know that there's things that are going well for us. The results and the scoreboard haven't been falling in our favour, but we're starting to make some good connections. And in our group at the moment, both our halves have not really worked with assistant fullback. We've had a change in our back rowers a couple of times. So there's been a couple of changes to key positions when you're trying to get some rhythm. And also just that lack of real understanding in the group, because they've only really played 4 games together. And we had 20 sessions before the season started. It was a completely new group. I gave 14 blokes a debut at Swinton for Newcastle. So it's a moving feast, as we like to say. We're trying to just get ourselves into some kind of form and some consistency in selection. That's been the key at the moment. And I think every team's doing the same things. It's you come into pre-season and you're getting excited, and half your team falls down with groin injuries, with calf injuries, as you start to ramp up the intensity. But no, it was good for us to have that general feeling of what it feels like to win, especially at home.
So what was it in particular? You talk about getting the kind of consistency, getting the lads gelling together. What was it about the win over Sheffield that showed you there are signs that this team is starting to gel a little bit?
We just had some enthusiasm for each other. Like say, it's that understanding of each other and what to play for each other. And sometimes it's not even about your tactics or your technique that you go into. It's just having the enthusiasm and the willingness to run hard and play the game with intensity. And I think that's what I've been lacking. We were a little bit touchy-feely in the first couple of games, trying to find our way, where we've just got to let go and play, and then everything else will fall on the back of it. So I think that's what we did against Sheffield. We just came out and had enthusiasm, and it was a great one because we had 2 lads still making their debut, young kids. Well, one lad that was making his debut, a lad that was first time playing in the Championship. Both local lads, both in key positions for us, in Noakson and Alex. Yeah. So we didn't really. There was not that lack of fear in us because we just wanted to go and play. Yeah,
it was absolutely fantastic to see, like you said, the 2 youngsters especially come through the academy and then starting the first team as well. So great win for Thunder, an excellent win as well for Batley, Craig, to bring you in over Widnes. 2 wins from 3. What's the secret so far this season?
I think probably similar to what Denis just alluded to there, that Newcastle played for each other last week, and we've got a real sort of tight-knit group at the minute. You know, we've got some lads that have played together previously. We've brought in from different clubs, and the connections they're blended really well for us this year. It can go one way, it can go the other. But luckily for us, it's gone the right way. And we had a bit of a wake-up call early on. We played Featherstone over at Post Office Road, at Millennium Stadium, whatever it's called these days, in a pre-season friendly, and we got absolutely battered. You know. The scoreline didn't suggest we got battered. Anybody watching that game, if it had been a boxing match, they'd probably stopped it. So it raised quite a few questions for us, more about his willingness to work for each other, about his desire, about his enthusiasm to play the game. Bear in mind, they just had a year out, and we played the game like that. So we had a pretty tough week, the week building up into the Halifax Cup game. You know, we questioned them as players, we questioned the toughness of the middle unit, and since that week before the Halifax game, they've been absolutely outstanding. But you know, we know it's a different game week on week, and you have a week off in this championship, you're going to get turned over by anybody in the league. So, you know, yeah, we've had 2 good results the last 2 weeks, but they've gone now, and it's onto this week against Newcastle.
Did you get the sense though, in that, especially in the second half against Widnes, that things are just starting to click, that your identity is now being stamped upon this Batley team?
Yeah, we're really keen on sort of empowering the players. You know, we've got a blueprint of a game plan. You know, we, like every team, you'll play from certain points. You'll have certain shapes that you want to play, or certain shapes that are available for the players to play. But you know, we want the players to look up and play what's in front of them. We don't want to be robots. You know, we can dictate how our team's going to defend against us. So we've got to have that smartness and that alertness to react to how our team's going to defend. If they stick 5 on the short side, then we've got to be smart enough to not go down that short side. Likewise, if they stick 3 on the big short side, they'll set the 3 on that short side. So it's about trying to empower the players and getting them to look up and giving them the confidence to actually make the decisions. And you know, we've got some smart players now. We've brought Tom Gilmore in from. Luckily for us, the Ottawa thing didn't work out this year, so he came in for us this year, and he's been really good, and he's helped Ben White as well. The combination of them 2 have got the minute halfbacks have been really good, and Luke Cooley at fullback. You know, he played all 5 games for us last year as a young developing player, really, but this year he's really taken a big stride forward and cemented that fullback spot. So we've got them 3 players that have been key to us so far, and everything that we do in our good ball, it's it's a combination of them three. But you know, I say it's early days, and it could come crashing down, and if you don't keep working hard. But you know, whatever we're playing well, we're going to try and ride the crest of the wave and get as many points as we can while we're playing well.
And just linking that into this weekend, Dennis, are they the two that you're keeping a kind of focus on, the two halves who have been mightily impressive so far this season for Batley? Is that where the main threat comes from on Sunday?
Well, I think Tom's a good player. Like I say, I've known Tom a long time. Like I say, it was at Widnes when he first started his career. He's been blighted with injuries throughout his career. I think that's been his problem. If he can find somewhere and go there and play, I think Craig will already see that he's a smart player. He's got a really good short kicking game. He's really good with the players around him. He gets them into positions and he makes the team better. Like he makes a good half makes the team function. It makes players around him better, and that's what Tom does. He knows he's not the quickest, but he's quick enough. But he uses players around him to put himself in better positions. So Tom's a good player. I think, like I said, there, he's in Ben's thriving off that because Tom will be the one that talks, and Ben will be the one that goes and just has a look up and sees where he can go. And I like the fullback. I like Hooley. He's quick and he likes carrying ball. He's dangerous. But they've also got some older heads in there. When you look at like Joey Broughton and Ben Manning, they've got older heads there that have been around the block and know how to play. Yeah. So it's a good side, and that's our test. Our test is week in, week out now, playing against championship sides, established championship sides. And all those people in that team and their culture at Batley is to be the best championship side they can be. We've got to raise our standards week in, week out to go and play these teams. And that's the exciting thing for us. I mean, having teams like Batley come and play us and being able to go there.
How different a challenge would you say Batley are compared to what we faced against Sheffield on Sunday?
Very similar. We just got to laugh at ourselves. We know that Batley are good. They're a good side. They're above us in the table. They've had a really good start. Same as Sheffield. Yeah. And the side that turns up and wants to be enthusiastic and can hold some kind of energy in the team, they're the side that will probably put a little bit of mark on it. If the halves can function on the back of some good goal forward, yeah, both the sides are looking for the same kind of things. And literally, there's nothing like magical about this game. Everybody knows what everybody else is doing. Everybody's doing the same stuff. It's whether you can do it better than your opposition on the day. And that's our challenge this week, is to make sure we can hold and keep the players fit, keep them energised, and they turn up and willingness to play for each other on the Sunday at 1:45, not at 12:15.
I knew you'd correct us again on that one. I just knew it. I'm here to be corrected though, so I'm all right with it. But just finally, Dennis, from a Thunder perspective, I know we talk about we're only a few games into the season. They've only had limited numbers of sessions together. There's been plenty of bumps and bruises. What percentage of capability would you say this Thunder side is at currently, and what would you like to see from them this weekend?
That is really a weird question. What percentage do I think? What percentage?
Yeah, like what percentage?
Why are you trying to percentage this? What do you mean? We're going better. We're better than we were the first week.
Yeah.
Every single week we've got a little bit better, and I think you can see that just by being around players and watching them train. I think we've got a group of players. Some of them know each other. None of them have ever played together really. Like you say, you've got both our halves are both ex-Wigan kids. Yeah. But they're different ages. One's 25 and one's 21, so they never really committed to each other when they were at Wigan. They went off in a different paths and played some rugby. Yeah. So I mean, like you say, that's the problem. We've just not got any real connectivity in our group. They're all starting to get to know each other and enjoy spending time with each other. And the hardest thing that this got, and it's not been the lack of training sessions, and it's not been the fact that they've never played together before. It's the fact they can't actually do anything together. They've not been able to go out. They've not been able to spend time together as a group, which you would do after games or pre-games. You'd get some kind of normality in life, and you make the best connections by having a meal together, by sitting having lunch, by going out having a coffee or having a beer, or just you can grow like lots and lots of friendships in those moments. We've had to force that on them because it's all about playing, and that's what we'll hopefully be able to do over the next couple of months, is grow as a group by spending time together outside of the training field. And that's been the hardest thing in most people's lives at the moment, is that you've just not been able to actually do any social things with people that we enjoy doing.
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you what, we won't mention percentages for the rest of the conversation anyway. Craig, just to kind of bring you back in from a Batley perspective, what's impressed you from what you've seen of Newcastle so far this season?
I think just the way that they've adapted to playing in the Championship, and I think like Denis said, they found out fairly late on that they were going to be involved in the Championship, later than what everybody else did. So the recruitment, I suppose, that were a little bit on the back burner as well. So chucking a lot of people in, regardless of how good these players are and what the background is, you can't chuck a lot of people together and expect them to click straight away. We were in a fortunate position where we played 5 or 6 games last year with our squad, and it gave me a good chance to have a look at the players that were there, so I could bring some players in. So I think we've brought eight new players in, which you can integrate 8 new players into a squad that's already sort of been there for a couple of years. It's a lot easier than what you can do when you're trying to bring a lot more new players in. I think Denis said 14 debuts in the Swinton game, which is it's a phenomenal amount of debuts that just put together and expect a team to click. So the more games that Newcastle play, the better they're going to get, the better the connections are going to get as well. So it's not going to be a quick fix, but from what I've seen so far, the arse are smart. Bob Bezic came back last week. He was a real smart player and gets him around the field. Some tough dynamic forwards as well. So it's I think that Newcastle have adapted really well to life in the Championship, and it can be a daunting task playing against seasoned Championship teams. It's a big step up from League One to compete week in, week out. And you can do it every now and again. You sometimes see shocks in the Challenge Cup where a League One team will beat a Championship team, but to do it on a consistent basis week in, week out is very, very difficult. And Newcastle have won one, drawn one, lost one, which I don't think is for a new team in playing in no competition. I think it's a fairly decent start.
And for your lads, is your message as simple as more of the same from them this week?
Yeah, definitely. Like I said earlier on, you have a week off, you come under coach, you're going to get turned over. So we're doing well at the minute. We've won 2 games and we're sitting 3rd in the league. But at the end of the season, nobody remembers who were 3rd in the league 3 games into the season, do they? So it's down to us to keep his performances up, to keep winning as many games as we can, because we know that the games that we win against the teams that maybe we're expected to be around towards the end of the season, for every 1 game we win, they've got to win 2 to get back to us, to get back some sort of parity. So the more games that we can win early on in the season, the more comfortable we can be, and then the more we can adjust our goals and our aspirations for the season. We're not just going to keep trying ticking off week in, week out, and see where that takes us.
And just finally, before I let both of you go, away from a rugby league more or anything, it's more of a social thing. But I mentioned at the start, hopefully I got that one right, in terms of the timings about the social media blackout for this weekend. I just want to get your thoughts on that and the need to do that in 2021 to try and raise a message to the likes of Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, that racism, discrimination, online discrimination is not all right. Denis, if you want to go first.
Well, I think it's not. I think it's something we've got to learn to live with as well, because once you give people a platform what they can hide behind, there's always going to be a point where people like to say things that are not nice. Yeah. There's always people out there going to do that. And I think that whether it's now we've got social media platforms, we used to have lots of other platforms where people would do it, and it was seen as something that was okay. I think the shift has been made. I think there's now things in place, and there's been a generational jump again about what we need to see as acceptable amongst ourselves. Yeah. And I think social media platforms now need to understand that they have to safeguard people as well as everybody else has to do the same thing. Like I said before we started this, it's not a problem to me. I've been on a social media blackout for the last 20 years, so it's not really anything that I need to worry about. But in general, I've got 5 daughters, I've got granddaughters, I've got friends. I've got friends who are coaches that get abused. I've been abused myself online. Or people told me about it. But there are people out there that like to come tell you, even when you're not on social media, that somebody's saying something bad about you on social media. So it's pretty easy for me because I'm not on it, and it's not something I really take a great deal of time over. But obviously, it affects everybody in different ways, and it's unacceptable to abuse anybody in any form or shape, in any form. So it's Is it a good thing? I will find out. Like I said, there's lots of other things we can do better. If coming off social media is going to help everybody, then brilliant. I've been trying to get my kids off social media for the last 5 years, but that's not helped or not worked. So good luck over the weekend.
We can only hope. Greg, what about yourself? What's your kind of attitude towards it?
I think the fact that we're talking about this in 2021, it's just ridiculous that people are accessing platforms and putting abuse on. People can live their lives however they want to live their life, and it shouldn't make no difference to anybody else. I think for me, it's a quick fix. I think social media can be a great tool in today's day and age, but it's also an easy platform to allow people to be abusive and get away with it. It's an easy fix for me. Every source of social media, you've got to have some form of identification, and you've got to prove who you are. We see so many accounts on social media now where you can just sign up and you can put a fake name, you can put a fake contact detail, fake number, fake whatever it is, and it just seems a real simple fix for me. Once everybody signs up, you know who the people are. There's accountability there, and you can't get away from it. And I think that's the main thing. It's making people accountable for their actions, because anybody can hide behind a false name or a false picture or a false account and say what they want to say. And would they say it to your face if they weren't hiding behind a false account? They wouldn't do it, no, because they're cowards. So make everybody accountable, make everybody prove who they are, and then let them put stuff on social media. And if they put it on social media, then the relevant authorities and the police and whatever it might be, they'll deal with it, and then it'll be sorted. But at the minute, we're allowing people that platform without any accountability, without any sort of recompense that they've got to pay. And as long as we allow people to do that, it'll continue. So whether a social media ban for 3 days will work, I don't know. I think it's a little bit of lip service for me. I think more pressure's got to be put on the actual organisation themselves to tighten their scrutiny and their protocols to allow people to sign up to these platforms.
Yeah, couldn't agree more. Thank you very much for both speaking so candidly about that. And obviously, thank you very much for joining us today for this press conference. It's been a pleasure, and best of luck this weekend to both Newcastle Thunder and to Batley Bulldogs at 12:45. 12:45 on Sunday, not 12:15. 12:15 is your Power League call. Once you purchase your passes, the details are all on the ticker below. All right, but Denis, thank you. Craig, thank you. See you both on Sunday. This one, hopefully, fingers crossed, the last Newcastle Thunder home game being played behind closed doors, which means that one thing. You can still watch it live and exclusive in our league from 12:15, 12:45 kickoff, $4.95 for the early bird passes. Bargain. For now, though, thank you for watching. We will see you on Sunday.